Hello, and welcome to Zenith's Video Guide. I think you're going to enjoy our program. It's designed to give you quickly and simply all the information you'll need to help you get the maximum pleasure from your new VCR. To start, note the color-coded chapters on the back of the cassette sleeve. Each chapter has its own color, and that same color also appears as a color bar across the bottom of your screen to help you quickly find a specific chapter for later review. As you start viewing each chapter, the color bar for that chapter will slowly disappear until at the end of that chapter it's entirely gone. How much of the color bar shows will tell you quickly where you are within a chapter. Now, this video program will show you how to operate your VCR, but we also recommend that you take the time to read this printed operating guide. You'll find additional information in the guide that may not be included in this video program. One other quick point. This video guide is meant to be used with several VCR models. While functions in these models are very similar, where there are differences, we'll indicate them. Well, that's it for the preliminaries. Let's get started. Before we get started, notice the clock. It's flashing because the time needs to be set. We'll do that a little later, but for now, let's at least stop it from flashing. Just press Clock Adjust once, press Select twice, and Clock Adjust once more. Your new Zenith VCR has an automatic power-on system. Simply loading the cassette turns on the deck. To remove a cassette with the power off, simply press the eject button, and just like that, out comes the cassette. The VCR's primary controls are located here on this front panel. Opening this panel door gives you access to the secondary control group. We'll take a detailed look at these shortly, but for now, the knob should be centered and all switches should be set to the left. On the back are the antenna connections, the channel output selector switch, and the audio and video input-output jacks. Well, so far so good. Now let's find out more about cassette playback. For cassette playback, you can operate your VCR in several ways. Manually, with the controls on the machine, or at a distance with this convenient, full-function remote control. For demonstration purposes, we're using the remote control from the VRD200. Now, if you use the remote, be sure that this switch is in the VCR position. In the TV position, this remote will operate many remote controllable Zenith TVs. Your Zenith VCR also has a nifty feature called autoplay. If you insert a cassette that doesn't have a safety tab, the deck will automatically go into the play mode and start playing the cassette. Okay, to view a cassette, turn on your TV set and tune it to channel 3 or 4, whichever is the unused broadcast channel in your area. In this case, channel 3. Then, on the back of your VCR, set the RF output switch to match the TV channel you've selected. Once you've set this switch, you should never have to set it again. And from now on, this switch position will determine which channel, 3 or 4, you tune your TV to when using your VCR. Now, why don't you sit back, relax, and use the remote control? This TV video button on the remote has the same function as this TV video button on the VCR. When the video light is on, that means you can view a picture from a video cassette or from broadcast TV using the VCR's tuner. When it's off, that means you must use your TV's tuner to select channels and to view a picture independent of the VCR. If you don't get a picture and your TV screen looks like this, just press this TV video button once, and you should get a picture immediately. The remote control can perform most VCR functions, including speed search forward, speed search reverse, and pause. By holding the pause button down, you can minimize the noise bar effect or advance the picture continuously. To resume regular playback, press play. If your new VCR is a model VRD210, you can press the Enter Recall button on the remote to call up computer-like on-screen displays to tell you your VCR's current operating mode. Pressing any of the function keys on the remote, such as rewind or changing channels, will also give you on-screen displays, including time and channel information. Your new VCR has a feature called Next Function Memory, so it will remember the next function you want after you press rewind. You can use Next Function Memory with the play, eject, power, and timer functions. For example, here's how it works with eject. Press rewind and then immediately press eject. The flashing LED means the cassette will rewind to the beginning, stop, and eject the cassette automatically. If during playback your picture looks distorted, or if the audio sounds strange or is missing, use either the plus or minus electronic tracking control buttons to clear it up. During tape playback, there are several ways you can automatically search for and find a specific segment of the tape. Here's one example. You can go directly to a specific point by using this Go To button. First, insert a cassette. The Go To function always references the beginning of the cassette. Press Go To. Enter the tape counter number you want and press play. The VCR will go directly to the number you entered and begin playing. Now, if you use Go To without rewinding the cassette first, the VCR will automatically rewind to the beginning of the cassette and then go to the number you entered. One other point about Go To. If after you've entered the numbers you want, you press stop instead of play, the VCR will go to that number and then stop. Pressing clock lap count twice restores the clock display. Well, that about wraps up this chapter. Coming up next, important information about your TV picture. For full enjoyment of your VCR, you obviously need a picture. So, in this chapter, we're going to take a brief look at where your TV signal comes from. All of us are accustomed to changing channels on the TV and seeing the channel we selected come up on the screen. That's because your TV has a tuner built in, and it's this tuner that makes it possible for us to receive a TV signal from any available channel in our area. Now, to understand how this works, think of the TV signal as water flowing through a garden hose. The signal flows in here from the antenna and into the back of the TV. Then it flows out again as a picture. Your VCR also has a tuner built in, so in a way it's like a TV set, only without the screen. And, like the water in your garden hose, the signal flows in here into the back of the VCR. Then the signal flows out again directly into the TV. Since the VCR's tuner works independent of the tuner in the TV, you can change from the VCR's tuner to the TV's tuner or back again anytime you want. Having two independent tuners is why it's possible to record a program on one channel while watching a second program on a different channel. Your VCR can also receive signals directly from a cable TV system, or from a special cable TV signal box, like this. Now, one of the things all this means is, since the VCR's tuner works independent of the TV set, we don't have to have the TV turned on to record a program. That's one of the great features of having a VCR. Now that we know a little bit about where signals can come from, let's go on to the next chapter and find out how to get the ones you want into your VCR. Well, as you can see from the last chapter, with all the TV signal possibilities to choose from, the way you hook everything up is very important. No matter where the signal comes from, sooner or later it has to go into the back of the VCR. If the end of your antenna cable is like this, screw it into this antenna input jack. Your VCR can now receive everything your TV set's been receiving. On the other hand, the end of your antenna cable may look like this. In that case, you'll need to use the antenna balun, which was packed in with your VCR. Attach the two antenna leads to it, like this, and then slip it on to the antenna end jack. However, the end of your antenna cable may look like this. In this case, you'll need to purchase an antenna mixer and attach it to the twin UHF VHF antenna leads, like this. And then slip it on to the antenna end jack. The next step is to send signals from your VCR to your TV. Attach this coaxial cable, which came with your VCR, to your VCR's antenna output jack, and the other end to your TV's antenna input jack. Your VCR is now hooked up to your TV. However, some sets have antenna terminals similar to this. If yours does, use the matching transformer that came with your VCR to attach the cable coming from the VCR to the TV, like this. This will give you either UHF or VHF reception, but not both. If you want both UHF and VHF reception, you'll need to purchase a 300 ohm UHF VHF antenna splitter to attach to the cable coming from the VCR to the TV, like this. Both your TV set and your VCR should now be able to receive normal broadcast TV signals. If your TV signal comes from a cable TV system, you most likely have a cable that looks like this. If so, simply screw it into this input jack. Your VCR's tuner is cable compatible, so you should now be able to tune all previously available cable channels. However, many cable TV systems use a special cable box to protect their signals. This complicates the hookup situation a little, but there are several options you can select to suit your particular recording need. Here's one example of how to hook up your cable box to your VCR. The cable signal coming into your home is first fed into the input jack of the cable box, and then fed out the output jack of the cable box and into the antenna input jack on the VCR. Then, the VCR output signal is fed to your TV. The advantage to this hookup option is you can record all available cable TV channels, including pay or premium channels, because you're using the tuner in the cable box to make channel selections. The disadvantage is you can't use your VCR to make channel selections. If your cable system protects only certain channels by scrambling the signal, there is another way to hook up your cable box. First, connect the cable TV system's antenna cable to the antenna end jack of your VCR. Next, connect one end of the coaxial cable to the antenna out jack of the VCR, and connect the other end to the antenna end jack of the cable box. Then, connect the antenna out jack of the cable box to the antenna input on the TV. The advantage of this hookup option is you get to make most channel selections using the VCR's tuner. The disadvantage is you can view premium or so-called scrambled channels, but you can't record them since unscrambling occurs after the signal has already passed through the VCR. What all this means is when using your VCR with the cable box, you may have to choose between the cable TV company's tuner or the tuner in the VCR. Well, you can relax now. Hooking up your VCR is probably the hardest thing for most people to deal with, and you just went through it. So, let's go on to Chapter 6. Well, now that we've got everything hooked up, let's take a look at selecting TV channels. Your VCR's tuner can receive UHF and VHF broadcast channels, and if you're a cable subscriber, CATV channels too. With these switches set to the left, your VCR is ready for normal broadcast TV reception. However, if you want to record a cable channel, set the band select switch to CATV and the automatic frequency control or the AFC switch to special. If your TV has similar switches, set them to match those on your VCR. Now, make sure that this video indicator light is on to be sure that you're using the VCR's tuner. To select a channel, simply press the up or down arrows until the channel you want appears. Or use the remote control to quickly find a specific channel by pressing the channel number you want. Here's how to quickly scan only your favorite channels. Press the Channel Set button, then press one of the channel scan arrows until the number you want to eliminate appears. Let's select 5 and press Skip. You'll see PO flash briefly, telling you the channel has been programmed out of the scanning sequence. Finally, press the Channel Set button once more. Now, when you scan the channels, you'll see only the ones you really want. To restore Channel 5 to the scanning sequence, simply press Channel Set. Then press one of the channel scan arrows until the flashing Channel 5 appears, and press Add, and then Channel Set once more. Well, that's how you tune in your channels. So now, let's find out how to record them. Before we get into the steps in recording, here's a handy reference chart of video cassette recording and playback times. It'll help you choose the right length cassette for your recording. Your VCR will record in both SP and EP tape speeds. The faster SP speed will give you the best picture quality, and the slower EP speed provides the longest playing time. This number tells you the cassette in this box is 120 minutes or 2 hours long at the SP speed. At the EP speed, this cassette will be 6 hours long. Use the SP-EP switch to manually select your recording speed. Okay, let's record a TV program. First, load a cassette and make sure this safety tab is in place, or that the hole is covered with a piece of tape. Select the recording speed and use the VCR's tuner controls to tune the channel you want. Or you can use the remote for channel selection. Now we're ready to record. Simply press Record. The red and green LEDs tell you the VCR has started recording. If the tape reaches the end during manual recording, the VCR will automatically stop and rewind to the beginning. Here are some reminders to quickly check before you start recording. Let's try recording one channel while we watch a different one. We'll record this channel using the VCR's tuner, just as we did a moment ago. Only now, I'll just press the TV video button And then you can watch whatever channel you select on the TV without affecting the VCR's recording. But that's not the only way your new VCR can record. The record button allows you to start a recording with a timed, unattended automatic shutoff. Here's how. Go through the normal steps to get ready for recording. Then, when you want to record, just select the channel. And then, press the record button twice. Notice that the clock has changed and now tells us the VCR will record for 30 minutes before automatic shutoff. Each time the record button is pressed again, we add another 30 minutes, up to 4 hours. Notice that during recording, when you press pause, this on-screen pause indicator appears to remind you the VCR is in the pause mode. To resume recording, press play. Pressing stop terminates recording at any time. Now, here's a feature you can use to easily find the beginning of each recording during playback. It's called the index search system, and it works like this. During recording, an index code is inserted automatically at the beginning of each recording. So, before playback, make sure that this tape memory switch is set to the index position. And during playback, with the tape memory switch still at index, press either fast forward or rewind. The VCR will scan until the index code is detected and begin normal playback automatically. Well, that wraps up this chapter. So here comes Chapter 8. This chapter is all about time, and for once, how to make time work for you. Your new VCR has a 14-day, 4-event timer for automatic recording of up to 4 different programs on different channels at different times. The clock plays an important role in all of this, so let's adjust it to the correct time. Press Clock Adjust, and when the day starts flashing, press the Set Plus or Set Minus button until today's day, Wednesday, appears. Then press Select, and the hour will flash. Press Set Plus or Set Minus until the correct hour and AM or PM appears. Press Select again, and the minutes will flash. Press Set Plus or Set Minus, and when the correct minutes appear, press Clock Adjust again. It's just like setting a digital watch. Whatever's flashing indicates the information you need to enter. Now, let's program the first event of the automatic timer. On the VCR, we'll use the same controls that we just used to adjust the clock, except now we'll press Program. Notice number 1 appears, indicating the first event of the present week is ready for programming. So, whatever's flashing tells you the next step to program. In this case, the day. Press Set Minus or Set Plus to choose the day you want. Then, pressing Select again programs this step. Now, program the hour you want the recording to start, AM or PM, using the same Set Plus or Set Minus buttons. Press Select again, and you're ready to program the starting time minutes. Use a Set Plus or Set Minus button and press Select again. Next, enter the channel number you want and press Select. When you finish the last step in programming the start time, you automatically advance to the steps for programming the stop time and recording speeds. We program the stop time the same way we just did the start time. For every start time entered, a stop time must also be entered. Finally, press Select to complete the programming for event number 1. By the way, if your VCR is a model VRD210, the steps for programming are the same, except you can use the remote control. Just press the Program button to call up the on-screen programming display, and use these channel scan up-down buttons to enter the time, channel number, and recording speed. Now, the number 1 tells you you've just finished programming the first event. If you want to program additional record times, pressing the Program button advances you through the 4 additional programming events. Simply repeat these same programming steps for each different event. If you change your mind or if you notice an error in any of the programmed information, just keep pressing the Select button until the information you want to change flashes, and use the Set buttons to change it. When you're all through setting the timer, use the Program button to sequence past event number 4 and to return to normal clock display. With a tape in the VCR, the last step is to turn on the timer by pressing the timer button. The VCR will turn itself off, ready to automatically record each program at the time and day you've set. These numbers tell you how many different events you actually programmed, up to a maximum of 4 events. Well, that's great, but suppose you want to program a show and it won't be on until next week. Here's how. When the day flashes, press this button until Second Sunday appears. You can now choose the day you want in the following week. You can also program the VCR to record your favorite weekly series, each week automatically. Simply enter the information about the show into the timer and press the Repeat button. Every week, your VCR will remember to record the same program without having to reprogram the timer. To record your favorite daily series, keep pressing one of the Set buttons until every day of the week is displayed. Keep pressing to remove Sunday and Saturday if desired. Then press Select again. The rest of the steps for programming are the same as before. Once the timer is set, you can check the start and stop times entered for each event by pressing the Select button to sequence through each event and display the information. It's important to note that when the clock and timer are displayed together, normal VCR controls will not work. To make them work again, turn the timer off and press the power button for normal operation. If the word timer is flashing, it means that something's wrong, such as the cassette safety tab is missing. However, the timer will not flash for certain errors, so here's a list of some common programming errors to try to avoid. If the tape runs out during recording, the VCR will stop and automatically eject the cassette. That way, the automatic timer won't accidentally re-record over existing material on your cassette. For additional details about your VCR's auto-record timer, please consult your VCR's printed operating guide. Well, that about wraps up our show. We hope that you found this video guide useful. It's Zenith's way of helping you enjoy the many features and benefits of your new VCR. If you'd like to tell us your reaction to this video guide, we'd like to hear from you. Please write us at this address. By the way, here's how you may receive your new Zenith VCR free. Each month, a drawing will be held by Zenith from the completed owner's registration cards received during the previous months. Zenith will reimburse the winner for the full purchase price of their VCR. In order to participate, simply complete and return the owner's registration card.
Take your pick. Discover the possibilities of the ultimate home entertainment source of VCR, cable TV, and HBO and Cinemax. Consider the choice. Unlimited variety. News, sports, weather, lifestyles. Basic cable delivers 24 hours a day. A VCR plugs you in. Now plug in quality premium channels. The choice HBO and Cinemax with an unbeatable selection of movies and exclusive original programming. Choice like this makes your entertainment system complete. The convenience of a VCR puts you in command because because now you can control time. Preset your VCR and record a concert while you're away. Record a movie while you watch a big sports event. Cable, HBO, and Cinemax give you the choice. A VCR gives you the freedom, choice, convenience, and an unmatched value. That's the VCR Cable Connection. Hundreds of movies, concerts, comedy specials, series, sports, news, and information for just pennies a program. It's the system designed to satisfy. A VCR plus cable, HBO, and Cinemax, the ultimate in home entertainment.